she spoke as little as possible during their journey. Her temper was her worst enemy when it came to Amelia. Better to be silent than to be goaded into a foolish fit of pique and get sent back home. Looking out at the enormous Palladian mansion, she couldn't help but be impressed. Richmond Manor was no mean hovel, but it was dwarfed by Devonshire House. The sheer number of carriages clogging the drive meant there would be plenty of opportunities here tonight. Her spirits lifted in anticipation of the hunt. Immediately after being announced, Papa ushered them straight into the crush. Victoria trailed behind, feeling like an embarrassing afterthought as he paraded Amelia about, introduced her to the eligibles, and made much of her. After having to clear her throat 3 times before receiving an introduction to the Earl of Sandwich, she decided enough was enough. So intent was her father on showing off his prize filly that he barely acknowledged her when she announced she was leaving to visit the powder room. With as much haste as dignity permitted, she took her leave. I should have stayed home. She passed a knot of snickering debutantes and caught sight of Lorraine Van Heusen. Her heart sank at the pitying expression on the girl's face. Poor thing, she heard Lorraine say as she turned away. She'll end as a spinster, that one. Already looks as if she belongs in a convent. Her sister is ever so much more fashionable, even if 'tis said a man can ice skate on her heart. The others in her group agreed with much laughter. Victoria quickened her pace, blinking back tears. Damn them all, especially Papa. How can he do this to me? Just as she was about to exit the ballroom, another snippet of conversation caught her attention. I don't know, Withy, rumbled a deep male voice. I'd much rather have a wife who speaks her mind honestly than one who says one thing and thinks, or worse, does another. Lord Julius Cavendish, second son of the Duke of Devonshire, Victoria noted, as she continued her progress around the corner. Once there, however, she stopped. The man he'd been speaking with, Robert Montague, Marquis Withington, had broken into laughter. And just when did you begin admiring virtuous females? I thought your most cherished pastime involved Frenchwomen lacking in propriety. Yes, well, I'm 30 now, not 18, replied Cavendish. It's high time I settled down, and while I may not be the precious heir, there are still certain standards of propriety to which I must adhere. The woman I marry must be impeccable, fit to be a duchess. I thought you had no ambitions, teased the other man. I don't. But, unfortunately, my brother William is a bit more reckless than he ought to be. In truth, I want nothing more than peace, quiet, and good earth. You sound as though you're selecting a burial plot, said the other man sourly. No, just a wife. Almost as bad, replied Cavendish with a laugh. Withington sighed. I suppose, if you intend to wed, then I should as well. Solidarity and all that rubbish, eh? No sense in only one of us putting on the leg irons. If we're both chained, we can at least bemoan our matrimonial enslavement together. So then, this year's hunt is for the poor. Indeed, affirmed Cavendish. Might as well get it over with. My days as a happy bachelor are numbered anyway, you know. Being a mere second son, if I don't bank on my good looks and charm soon, I'll be too wrinkled and grey to catch the eye of anything even remotely innocent. You're a bloody Cavendish, his friend scoffed. You've but to crook a finger and your selection will likely hike her skirts and sprint down the aisle, no doubt kicking her heels at her peers the whole way. I doubt that very much. Nonsense, said Withington. Come, let us peruse the wares on display tonight and see if there is anything worth further investigation, shall we? I imagine there must be someone here that fits your, rather unique requirements. The men moved on, leaving Victoria to contemplate the conversation. Tall and broad of shoulder, Cavendish had deep auburn hair and a handsomely arranged face. His nose was straight, his chin strong, and his smile pleasant. All in all, a very decent-looking fellow. Very. A brilliant idea struck her. He would be an excellent match for Amelia. Not only were they closer in age, but he would actually approve of the enthusiasm with which she shared her opinions. He'd said he wanted a woman who was honest. Well, one certainly didn't get any more honest about her likes and dislikes than her sister. Too bad he wasn't Devonshire's heir. But the fact that he was a spare wouldn't really matter. Papa would be far more interested in the political influence he would gain through such a connection. The Cavendishes were one of the wealthiest.